Hello, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scary-ish podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And today we're here with more homegrown horror. Why don't you tell us what those are?
Homegrown horror is the wonderful stories that you, the wonderful listeners and viewers, have sent to us. They can either be supernatural, spiritual, sometimes coincidental, sometimes just straight up scary, sometimes true crime, sometimes extraterrestrial in nature. Robin, for folks who had a story like that they'd like to share, how can they do so?
You can send it to our email, storytime@scaryish.com. You can also go to our website, which is scaryish.com. Fill out the contact us page on there, and we get it sent to us that way.
Indeed.
Also, social media. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff.
However you're most comfortable sending your story, we would definitely love to hear it. We're going to have 4 of those this week. Before we jump into those, I do want to remind everyone it is January Patreon Push. That's right. January Patreon Push is a month where we take time out of our wonderful day to remind you we have a Patreon. So you can go over to patreon.com/scarishpodcast, check out the tiers we have, and for as low as $1 a month, you can sponsor this poor podcast and help us make additional content. It is always nice to do January Patreon Push because I think some folks just generally don't really think of it and they say, I'll do that later. And then when we start bringing it up, all of a sudden people start actually going over there and becoming patrons, which is wonderful to see. So go ahead and check that out. Tiers as low as $1. You get ad-free episodes and early content for everything we publish. In addition to that, we have tiers above $1. I believe the $10 tier, I forget what it's called, but Robin makes some amazing products that she ships out to everyone at the $10 or above tier, and she does a lot of work on those. One of those things can be seen if you watch the live shows. It's a keychain that's actually dangling from her microphone. It's a Wendigo keychain.
Wendigo?
What?
Wendigo?
That's what I said.
It sounded like you said Wendigo.
Oh, wow. Such a huge difference.
I mean,
way to stop the show.
You're welcome.
Anyways, yeah, she does a bunch of different cryptid keychains along with a lot of other stuff, stickers, stuff like that, and it all gets sent out. So definitely go over and check patreon.com/scarishpodcast. We would sincerely appreciate it. So, all right, Patreon plug done. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay, cool. So this first one is called, or I should say subject is Spooky-ish Story, ? And it starts like this. Hi, Adam, Robin, and Spooky Mom.
Hello.
Hello. And my mom says hello in a normal voice because she's not a ghoul. I got turned onto your show by a friend of mine, in parentheses, hi, Steph, and have been hooked ever since. That is super cute. I've got a lot of spooky-related stories that I've been meaning to send you guys for the podcast, but it feels like I never had the time for it. This story is just a tiny one, so it was easier to write down. Around Thanksgiving, I had a pretty normal/spooky incident. I think when you combine those, what it means is that spooky is normal for you. So we'll see. I saw the outline of a black cat walking around the house. Not a real cat. Think ghost cat. With my wheelchair in the way, I saw it walk towards me, pause, then turn around and saunter to the kitchen where my sister was preparing the turkey. All of a sudden, she screamed that she saw a black cat from the corner of her eye walking towards her as she had turkey juice on her hands. I said normal earlier because for us, having a few, quote, ghost cats around is normal. I called it.
Wow.
For as long back as I can remember. They kind of act as protectors. At least that's the feeling I get from them. But they have freaked out friends of mine. It's always freaked out friends when they get that feeling of a cat rubbing against their leg or seeing the imprint of one curling up on the bed or whatever.
That is kind of crazy. The fact that you can see the imprints of the cat sometimes, or that people can feel a cat even though there's nothing there. Granted, it could be wind, but if it is like the spirit of a cat or something like that, I think that's really cool.
I don't want to taunt or tempt fate or anything like that, but I would totally want to picture that because that would be amazing to see. That said, the email continues and finishes...
Or the imprint.
The imprint.
Oh, okay.
The email finishes, anyways, thanks for all the work you guys put in just to entertain and share with all of us. Well, thank you. And thank you for sending your email. We sincerely appreciate it. I think we've gotten quite a few emails about like phantom pets and things of that nature. I don't think we've ever gotten an email quite like this where it's normal to have a bunch of cats. I also wonder if they're cats from like your life, if you had a bunch of pet cats that have passed on, or if these like ghost cats sort of just followed you around throughout your lifetime. So when you send in your other stories, please let us know what the case is.
What if it's something like a past life where they just dealt with cats in a past life and it's just something that sticks with them, you know?
I thought you were going to say they were cats in their past life.
Or maybe you
It's
are.
going to blow my fucking mind. So, interesting.
I feel like our dogs used to be people.
Oh, yeah. Their behavior and their personalities definitely mirror that of, like, a person, especially our Shiba Inu. who just uses her hands far too much for any dog I've ever seen. Like the other day I came in, she was smoking a cigarette and she put it out really fast and then it was like, woof. I was like, don't lie to me. So not really, but she does a lot of stuff with her paws, but all right. Anyways, thank you so much for sending that in. We can't wait to hear the rest of your stories.
All right. So I'm going to get into my first email of the episode here, and it's titled Mom's Dream, which, before I get into the story, want to remind everybody, if you have family members that you can ask about their strange supernatural experience, paranormal experiences, whether that be your mom or your grandparents or brother, sister, uncles, aunts, any of those people that you have in your lives, even friends or anything like that, just have them tell them your stories so you can share them with us.
I will say, it feels like the older you go, the crazier the stories you get. So,
like the older your friends are, or
the older the person you ask.
Gotcha.
The crazier the stories you get. So,
yeah.
Aim high. Go triple digits.
Go triple digits.
Someone be like, my great grandmother gave me this story.
I mean, I did, when I was in middle school or first year of high school, interviewed my friend's neighbor, and he was like 90 something, and he had been like in internment camps.
Holy shit.
Like Japanese internment camps, and I was just like, holy fuck. The people that have been...
You're like, I'm 13!
People that have been through history have such great stories to tell you. And whether those are like terrifying stories, it's just that it's history. They have so much history and they have so much to tell you. So you should always ask your elders for things that they have to tell you.
Let me just put it this way, because I'm a dude who daydreams a lot, all right?
Do you?
Yeah, so if I watch an interview show or if I listen to a podcast or two people are talking, the thing that I tend to do is think like, if I was on this show, what would I say? Or what would I say to that question? So if you ever thought about the fact, like, if someone asked me this question, this is what I would say. Think about how frustrating it must be to have like 6, 7, 8, 9 decades under your belt and no one ever asks you for your stories. No one ever asks you your opinions on anything or anything that happened to your entire life. It would be so annoying.
Yeah.
So just imagine how excited you would be.
That's
if
why
someone finally asked you that.
Anytime my dad starts talking about like war stories, it's never ending.
I always, as soon as her dad starts talking about war stories, I'm just like I'm listening to everything he has to say. I just start like focusing out everyone else. So they're fascinating. But all right, let's get back to this email.
Okay.
We've gotten through the subject so far. Killing it.
So this email begins, Yo dogs. Sup dog? My name's Adriel, and I'm from Salinas, California. Nice.
Right on.
Hello, Adriel from Salinas, California. I've been meaning to write to y'all for a very long time, but I've not gotten around to it. I have some stories from when I lived in a haunted house as a kid, and some recent ones from when I shared a room with a ghost. I hope they paid rent.
I was about to say the exact same thing.
I lived in this room for about 5 years, but don't worry, y'all. That ghost was my little biatch.
Wow.
Okay. How? I want to know how. Okay. Anyways, I was planning on one of those experiences being the first I shared with y'all, but I heard a story on a Storytime episode that reminded me of a recent experience, and now I'd like to share that with you guys. And yes, you can share this on the podcast. I was listening to Storytime episode 138. That's what, 20 episodes ago?
Sounds like I think this is 153.
Okay, nice. And I heard a story that was shared by Claire. It was about a dream she had where her grandpa visited her with a child. She later talks about how a psychic interpreted that the child was her unborn nephew/niece. She also stated how she didn't always have the best relationship with her grandpa, but how the dream helped repair that. That episode was really cool. Also, the setting for the dream was some type of family party. All the details of her dream are very important because they are so similar to the story I'm sharing. A few months ago, my mother had a dream that involved my grandpa, her father. My mother and grandfather did not have the best relationship. He was an alcoholic who eventually drank himself to death.
That's so sad.
He was not one of the bad ones you see on TV, like the abusive ones who are straight up pieces of shit. He was a loving and hardworking man. He was a man of very few words, but showed love by performing meaningful actions. The only problem was that he got sauced every night, and it really angered my mom. I can totally see your mom being absolutely concerned if someone's just constantly drinking, and maybe he's not the abusive type of person, but that affects your health, you know?
Right.
Drinking constantly definitely affects like your liver and all that fun.
I mean, realistically, drinking alcohol or whatever type of like liquid,
because it's a poison.
You're just ingesting poison for the side effects of it, and it's like not something you're meant to do. So yeah, it's gonna adversely affect you every time you do it.
My mom was studying to be a nurse, so she was worried about the health risks of drinking so much, and he just didn't care. So they fought a lot. He eventually quit drinking, but it was too late. The damage was done, and his liver gave out. He refused a beer that was offered by my mom on his deathbed. Wow. So he really was like, no, I'm thanks. Done. Yeah. I believe he finally saw everything that the alcohol was robbing him of at the end. He ended up passing at home, surrounded by family. That's very lucky. We were all devastated, but my mother took it the hardest. I think that's the hardest part about this year or this past year is like, you don't get to be at home, surrounded by family.
So many folks had to pass away alone.
Yeah.
It's really hard to think about.
Also, recommend the first 2 episodes of the newest season of The Good Doctor because it's all about that, and I think it's important that people watch it. Anyway, moving on. Fast forward 11 years to this shithole we call 2020.
Wow.
It's crazy that this is all going in together.
Yep.
It's been a terrible year, but somehow my family received a blessing. My girlfriend is pregnant. Aww.
Congratulations.
And the baby is due in early 2021. Even more aww.
Which is now.
So,
I mean, this is super early 2021, though.
But maybe in a couple months.
Yeah. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah, let us know how it goes. That's cute. Half of our family was split on what the gender of the baby would be. I wanted a boy, but I had a strong feeling it would be a girl until my mother shared her dream with me. Leading up to the dream, my mother was super stressed out because doctors had found precancerous cells on her and they needed to be removed. I know that that's enough to stress anybody out, but my mom freaks out over anything. She told me as a child that I can get HIV by using public restrooms. Me too!
A what?
HIV.
HIV? Wow.
Yeah, my mom always said, like, you can catch diseases off toilet seats.
I mean, some of that is true. You can catch some diseases off toilet seats.
That's why they put seat covers, and you should be using those if you're in a public restroom. But man, my mom scared the crap out of me with all that stuff, too, when I was a kid.
I think the best pearl of wisdom I've heard from your childhood, and I'm not sure who said it, is each grain of rice you don't eat is a maggot you'll eat in hell.
Yeah,
when they're trying to get you to finish dinner.
Yeah.
Like, that is just like, that's way too intense for finish your food. Each grain of rice you don't eat is a maggot you'll eat in hell.
All right, so continuing on. Let me find my spot first.
Sorry.
I didn't take my first dump in a public restroom until I was in high school because of that. That is hilarious, and I'm with you there. My sister still hates going poop in public restrooms. Shout out to you.
Wow. I don't. I've given up at this point. Like, if I need to go...
You know what? When Adam goes on road trips without me, he sends me pictures of him crapping on the toilet.
Poop selfies. I miss her so much, and like when I'm sitting there on the toilet, it's all I think about. And then
Adam's new favorite thing this week is asking me if I want to come in and look at his poops. God, that's so gross. Okay.
It's so funny.
Anyway.
It's because I told her, like, hey, like, I wasn't feeling well today, and this happened. Not in gross graphic detail at all, and I'm not going to share it with you, but it's just matter of fact, like, this happened, and she's like, no, that doesn't. I'm like, do you want to see it? Like, do you want to see it? She's like, no! Oh my God! I'm like, then don't tell me I'm lying. So, okay, we can move on now.
Oh my God. Okay. Oh God. Anyways. This very serious but simple procedure was basically the equivalent of a procedure performed by Meredith Grey on a season finale episode where the patient had like a 2% chance to live in my mom's mind.
Wow.
That's a Grey's Anatomy joke, y'all. If you haven't, if you don't get it, you can go fuck yourself.
Wow.
That's fucked up.
That is fucked up. We stopped watching after Jenny died.
Oh man. Yeah.
Sad death.
But we're going back to watching old shows that we stopped watching, so maybe we'll finish that show eventually. Like, we're starting to finish The Strain, because The Strain is completed now, so we'll finish that
it's only 4 seasons
show.
long, and it's just paced poorly is the thing I would say about The Strain.
But yeah, so, I mean, we'll get to the Grey's Anatomy. We will. We eventually.
We have to finish The Office. We stopped close to the end of that show. So
yeah.
Let's get back into this email.
Basically, my mom was shitting bricks. Right, the night before the procedure,
that is a medical condition if you're shitting actual bricks.
God damn it, babe.
That's going to be serious. I don't think your mom was being crazy.
Shut up.
That was rude.
Shut up.
Holy shit.
Oh, okay. We have other stories that we can literally just have tangents forever. All right. Anyway, the night before the procedure, she had a dream where she was at a party in somebody's backyard. We're Mexican, so it was a typical Mexican party with a banda playing, or a band. With a band playing. She noticed my grandpa appear on the other end of the party, and he was holding hands with a little boy. My mom said she had never seen the little boy before. My grandpa walked up to my mom and asked her to dance. They danced for a bit while my mom was in tears. Finally, she asked him how he was here, and he replied by saying, quote, "They let me out when my family is suffering or need me," end quote. My mom started crying even more because he was obviously there because of the stress of her surgery. He told her everything would be okay and that he loved her. She told him she was sorry for the way she treated him, and they continued to dance for a bit. After a few songs, he told her that it was time for him to leave. He left her, but the little boy stayed behind. I think that's a really sweet and important dream to have, especially before going into a surgery.
Absolutely.
My mother immediately woke up to her alarm going off. It was time for her to get up and head to the hospital. She was no longer stressed out and knew that everything was going to be okay. And she was right. The procedure went great. She later shared the story with me and how she believed the little boy in the dream was my son-to-be. Turns out my girlfriend and I are having a baby boy. Oh, wow. That's really cool. It's so crazy how many similarities there are between my mother's and Claire's dream. After hearing the psychic's interpretation of Claire's dream, I've come to believe my grandfather did, in fact, bring my son to this earth.
It's like, I'm just going to drop this kid off with you.
That's so cool.
Take real good care of him.
I also believed he visited my mom because of all the stress she was under and because of the complications of their relationship. This dream has helped my mom heal and has given her closure. She's now turned her gaze to me and gives me shit for being an alcoholic, even though I only drink, like, once a week. Parents just don't understand. Insert a Fresh Prince
Parents just don't understand.
I've never seen that. Okay. Okay, I lied. I have seen Fresh Prince, but I've only seen maybe 5 episodes my entire life. Anyway, I just wanted to share this story with you guys, and I got many more that I will eventually send over. Goodbye, y'all.
Thank
you so much for sending that. I think that is so sweet.
Have you ever had a deceased relative visit you in a dream?
No.
I know you haven't had a whole lot of people pass away in your life, but I gotta say, I had my grandfather visit me in a dream like 10 years after he died. And it's just really emotional, man. Like, I remember in my dream, he spoke Spanish. I don't speak Spanish, so it's weird in a dream to hear Spanish words coming from someone's mouth, because that's my brain, you know? It's like, there shouldn't be Spanish words connecting at all, and if they are, why would they sound so much like someone actually speaking Spanish?
Yeah.
But I didn't know what he was saying, and I didn't know what to say back, and I just sobbed uncontrollably. And I woke up crying, so I was like, God damn it, I really wish I would have learned Spanish.
Yeah.
So...
Do you still want to learn Spanish?
Obviously I do, and it just shows that even though I was very upset about it, I also was still, you know, I say busy, but the term is actually lazy because I still haven't learned it. So it's definitely very intense to have someone visit you in a dream, but it's also very cathartic, and I hope there's more people out there that have had this kind of dream, and we hear more about it because it's really nice to hear.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you for sending that in. All right, so before I move into our next story, I just want to give a quick shout out to Manscaped. If you go to manscaped.com, check out those products, find something you like, and you get to the cart. If you put in code SCARISH, all caps, you're going to get 20% off your order and free shipping. It's a lot of good stuff. They sent me a Lawnmower 3.0, which was awesome, except I've been using it for years. It's great for trimming up that delicate skin like your balls or your lady balls. Or pets. We've heard it's good for pets, too.
Yeah.
They have a lot of good stuff. Weed whacker for your nose hairs. And that's been revolutionary for me. I'm pretty happy to pick that up.
I cannot believe that. You don't have those long-ass gross hairs out of your nose
It's nice,
now.
Right? Also, they have like a bunch of different clothing.
It'll work for your ears? Because you've been growing hair out of your ears.
It's like those really weird, white, wispy, thin hairs that when you pull them, they hurt so damn much. So, yeah, we should totally give that a shot. But they also have other things like ball deodorant, which is very important. And I'm wearing one of their very comfy shirts, and they have wonderful, comfy underwear. But anyways, go to manscaped.com. Check out what they have. If you find something you like, use code SCARISH at checkout, all caps, for 20% off and free shipping. So before we move into our next story, we are going to take a really quick commercial break. And we're back. Boop. All right. I'm going to move into my second story of the show. And this one's subject is, it could just be a coincidence. And I like the fact that you're starting out skeptical, because I'm interested to hear what you have to say. And maybe it's fucking crazy. And then I'll be like, wow, that can't be a coincidence. So let's see. Starts out like this. Hello, Robin and Adam.
Hello.
Hello.
What the...
That's just how I sound.
Okay.
I live here in Vegas, like you guys, and I'm just writing to share my experiences that others may call a, quote, coincidence, end quote. I don't have any ghost stories, sadly, but I do tarot readings. Ooh. and I dabble in some witchcraft here and there.
All right.
In this particular case, I'm going to share a small story I have recently experienced. People would always get freaked out when I give them a reading, whether they believe in it or not, because they're afraid of hearing bad news. It's a really good point, actually.
I feel like that's what you're asking for when you want to know things from your future. Like, it's not always going to be sunshine, daisies.
It's like, do you really want to know your future? Why don't you just live in the now, man? The past is past, the future's now.
What?
Gonna keep going. But that fear is very reasonable, and I understand that. Even I would hate to receive bad news, so I tend to ask specific questions that don't involve the possibility of bankruptcy, death, divorce, etc. Or I simply won't ask at all. I had an old coworker. They said had. I had an old coworker who I did a reading for last year. Let's call her Anna. I'm going to use Anna because it sounds fancier. Anna was skeptical at first, and even I'm still skeptical about my cards. There's no physical proof you can present to me to explain why they work because they just do. And Anna feels the same way, sorta. She asked me about her financial situation because she had just moved from California and gotten 2 jobs here in Vegas. Other than that, I have no idea what other details in her life played a role in getting her here to meet me in this time and place. Or it all could just be coincidence. So I pulled a few cards, notably the Tower and Death cards, and told her, you won't be working here for very long. Just a few months, it seems. Also make sure there is money in your bank account because something will happen that would put a dent in it, like maybe a car getting dented or having to pay for the damage. I said more, but that was pretty much the gist of it. I work at a starting job, so people here often leave within a few minutes. So her leaving soon would be no surprise at all. For those who may not know what these cards mean, the Tower card means an unfortunate event and the Death card means change. I've always heard Death card means change and not actually death.
To me, Tower, death, is someone plunging to their death.
You're very literal when it comes to reading cards.
I don't know the meanings behind them, you know?
Now you know these two. You know Tower
knowing is half the battle.
And Death. G.I. Joe. But these cards usually mean something big, so change may come up as quitting a job instead of moving furniture around, because rearranged furniture is an insignificant change and won't impact one's life much. This also goes for the Tower card. Dropping your sandwich after making it may be unfortunate, but that's not what the cards mean by unfortunate events. When I pulled the Tower card out, I immediately got the impression of injury, like someone losing an arm or a leg, but I played it down so Anna wouldn't worry too much.
Which is like car accident.
We'll see.
Oh, God.
A few days passed by, and I had heard from another coworker that Anna's sister-in-law broke her foot. Once Anna returned to work the next day, she told me what happened. She said that, quote, my sister-in-law was going down the stairs and accidentally skipped a step.
Oh, geez.
She landed on her foot wrong, and her ankle twisted up, which made it swollen for days. When we got to the hospital, the doctor told me how much it was, and all I could think about afterwards was how much it cost. Then it hit me. Was this what Nathan was talking about? All of this can sound fake to the audience because this can easily be fabricated for attention. I don't blame them, though, because there's nothing wrong with a bit of skepticism. But in that moment, it felt surreal to those involved. Or it all could just be a coincidence. Well, that's all I could say for now. In the future, though, I'll share my experiences with witchcraft because it really makes you question what's real and what's just in your head. And to add to all this, my boyfriend gave me a Ouija board for Christmas.
Wow.
Wish me luck.
Oh, God, good luck.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
So scary.
I think on the right hands, though, obviously I always say just don't dabble.
Correctly.
You're very careful with everything I've heard so far, so I definitely want to hear more of your adventures. So please follow up with us and let us know what else is going on. But
just tarot cards are
terrifying.
They're absolutely terrifying. And people constantly create tarot card decks that they're selling on Kickstarter, like gorgeous art on these tarot cards. And sometimes I'm like, some of these I would really actually love because for the art. But at the same time, I'm somewhat afraid of tarot cards because like you've had experiences where your family members have read tarot cards and we're like, holy fuck.
Yeah, it's eerie how accurate it can be sometimes. And I definitely agree with Nathan here about, being skeptical, but also keeping an open mind, especially when things start to come up where you're like, yes, it could be a coincidence, but that doesn't change the fact that that's sort of matched up really, really well. So
yeah.
It's a weird thing to dabble in, but it's also super fucking interesting.
Yeah.
So maybe one day we'll have a live TV show or something like that and we'll get a tarot reading. Who knows? We should, my God, when we get our show at the beginning of every season, we'll both get a tarot card reading. and then we'll see how that fills in as we travel the world going on our adventures.
Oh, that would be cool. Okay.
God, would someone just make this show, just give us money and we'll quit our job and we'll do this for a living. Anyways, thank you so much for sending that in. I'll stop my begging now.
All right, so I'm going to get into the last email of this episode, and it goes, "Hi, spooky peeps."
Sup?
Sup, those are you. Those are all you.
Everyone yell sup
All
wherever
y'all.
you're at right now. Yell it out loud.
Hello.
I was waiting for you to keep going.
Jeez, okay. I thought you were waiting for me to say it out loud. All right. I hope all of you are safe, healthy, and that the last month of 2020 is treating you well. I had a memory pop back up in my mind that I would like to share with you guys. It's not particularly scary, but it is a story that gives me hope.
Hashtag recovered memories, dude. It's so crazy when you're like, man, I haven't thought about this in so long.
One night when I was around 6 or 7 years old, my family and I were driving around, and we passed by the church we went to at the time. As we passed it, I looked out the window I was sitting next to and saw what looked like the church choir rehearsing next to the small shed in the church parking lot. What was odd about this was that they were wearing all white robes, and there was a light on them that seemed to be much brighter than the floodlights they had on the side of that building. I always thought the choir practiced inside the church, and they never wore any robes while they sang on stage. I'm honestly not sure what I saw that night, but this memory gives me hope and something to believe in. That's really cool. Like there's some type of afterlife or different world after all this kind of thing, maybe?
That's so crazy that's where your head went, because my head went to like, there's a cult and they practice outside, and that's fucking terrifying.
Oh my god!
That's where I swear to God, that's where my head went.
Oh my god, okay. Anyways, I hope you have a wonderful rest of December and a phenomenal 2021. Oh god. Stay safe,
so
stay
far,
healthy,
so
and
good,
stay
man.
spooky.
Nothing crazy happened yet.
Sincerely, Christina. Thank you so much, Christina, for your story. 2021's been a shit show. Did you see that post someone posted?
Nowhere to go from up, man.
Someone posted,
up, I should say.
That was like, I'd like to cancel my subscription to 2021.
I've done the 7-day trial.
Yes,
and
I don't
interested.
like it. Yeah. But thank you so much for sending your story.
Yes, thank you so much, Christina. We sincerely appreciate it. All right, so I want to thank everyone who sent in their stories for this episode of Storytime. Quick reminder, if you watch us live, like folks are doing right now, we won't be streaming on Tuesdays anymore. We're switching to Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which will be really nice to do because Robin has a new schedule, and it was either that or we would stream in the middle of the fucking night when no one can watch.
2 semesters left in school, and I'm done, and I'm so stoked, and hopefully... more time. That means more time for Scary-ish afterwards.
It really does.
Oh my god.
So help support us by watching us Wednesdays, 6:30 p.m. at twitch.tv/Scary-ish podcast or youtube.com/Scary-ish. Either way, we appreciate all the support we get. If anyone has a story that they would like to send us, please email storytime@scaryish.com or go to our website, scaryish.com, and click on contact us. You can also hit us up on any of our social medias. Facebook is facebook.com/Scary-ish podcast. Twitter.
What?
I was going to say Twitch. And I was just like, no.
Oh my god. Have you been drinking too much?
It's like when you see
Jeez.
Inside Out and they're like all like taking control of the little girl or whatever in
Oh
the
my
terrifying
God.
schizophrenic version of a Disney cartoon. Like someone just like threw a switch and it was like Twitch. And I just activated again.
Burp, burp, burp.
Twitter is at ScarishPod. Twitter is at ScarishPod and Instagram is at ScarishPodcast. Robin, for folks who would like to donate to us, how could they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/Scary-ish podcast. Those are monthly donations. A few different tiers on there. Tiers do start at $1. So if you've got 4 quarters in your couch, you can be a patron. Come on. And there's a whole bunch of different tiers. There are physical merch tiers where I send out stickers and keychains or buttons, things like that. And there's even like a goodie box tier.
Indeed, there is.
Or not really goodie box because it changes. It could just be a Christmas card, but it's like personal stuff that we'll send you that I curate and stuff like that. But if you're not into the monthly subscription thing, you can also go to ko-fi.com/Scary-ish podcast. And those are one-time donations. All your donations go to upgrading our studio setup and our microphones and our cameras and things like that. And kind of allowing us a little bit more time to record stuff, make new content. And
it also helps Robin make all this wonderful merchandise that she sends right back to you.
So, yeah, all that, you're investing in us
And we're investing in you.
That is probably the cheesiest.
Wonder Woman 1984 shit. Life is good, but it could be better if you were a patron.
Oh my god, that's really good. But
I wish Pedro Pascal would say that for us.
Oh man, if I love him. Okay.
Same here. That got really thirsty really quick. So thank you so much to everyone who sent in their stories. And I think that's just about everything we have for this episode of Storytime. So Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Keep on creeping on, and we'll talk to you guys later.
Bye-bye.